Hey everybody, and in this video we will be graphing the equation you see on your screen right now. Y equals 0.25 times 3 to the x. Now it could be typed slightly differently. Maybe next time it might look like y equals, instead of 0.25, maybe you're given 1/4, which is the exact same value, of course. And maybe your 3 is alone in the parentheses with the x exponent being out there. Both of these equations are exactly the same. 1/4 or 0.25, 3 on the inside with the x power on the outside, 3 to the x on the inside. It really doesn't matter. Here you have a 3 to the 1 and then power of a power to the x. So 1 times x is x. And here you have a 1 on the outside. X times 1 is also x. So same thing. Y equals, what kind of parent function are we looking at? Y equals a times b to the x. And what is that? If you realize that you're looking at an exponential function, that's great. When x is in the exponent, that's what it is you're working with. If x is in the denominator, it's some sort of a rational or reciprocal function. If x is in a square root, it's a square root function. If x is in absolute value bars, it's probably an absolute value function. I know, wild names from these mathematicians, right? Right. Now, next time you might have minus h, which would be a shift or translation left or right, or you might have a plus or minus k at the end. That would be a vertical translation or shift, up or down. Other things to note, the k value will tell you where we have something known as our horizontal asymptote. We'll talk more about that in a moment. When nothing is there for your horizontal asymptote or for your h, they're really zeros. Think of them as placeholders. So since we really just have a plus 0 at the end, that would mean we have a horizontal asymptote at 0. So I'm just going to go ahead and draw a dotted line. Asymptote, meaning asymptomatic. You don't have any of the characteristics of the graph there. Think of it as caution tape, off limits, nothing can go there. So we have, we'll write that out. You'll probably end up putting that in last, but let's switch it up and make sure we all know and focus on some important things. Horizontal asymptote at y equals 0. There we go. Now, what do we know about the a and the b? A and b, when you have a structure like the one we have where you don't have anything going on with h or k. A is known sometimes as your vertical is spelled like that, stretch when it's larger than 1, or compression when it is between 0 and 1. Another thing A can be known as is your initial value. So that would make this 0.25 in this case our initial value. What the heck does that mean? Another way of saying y-intercept. So the y-intercept is 0.25. So if that's 1, that's about 0.5, and 0.25, it's going to be right above the 0. All right, making big moves right now. We're doing great. So I'm just going to write out the ordered pair. 0 comma, almost messed that up, 0 comma, 0.25. X value is 0. The y value is 0.25. Now what about the b value? What does that do? B, our base, I guess I'll look at it right there. That is essentially your growth or decay factor. Since it's larger than 1, it's our growth factor. It's our base, sure, but it's our growth factor. Now what does that mean? A couple things. The easier thing to wrap your head around right now is that you are going to triple your value from the initial value every unit to the right that you move. If you needed to, this is a hot tip. If you are asked by what percent is the value increasing based on this model, if something is tripling, what percent does it increase by? I dare you, put it in the comment right now. Do not proceed. What do you think? If that's a 3, by what percent are we growing? And if you get it wrong, don't be too cool and delete it. Leave it. Own it. Respond to yourself. If you said it's increasing by 300%, you are wrong. If you said increasing by 200%, you are correct. When you triple something, you increase it by 200% of itself. When you double something, you increase it by 100% of itself. Think about it. Pause if you need to really think, and then let's proceed. So, growth factor of 3, 200% increase. Tripling. What is 0.25 tripled times 3? Think of 25 cents times 3, 75 cents. Right under the 1. What is 0.75 times 3? 2.25. What's 2.25 times 3? 246.75. 246.75. Triple 6, it's going to be at least 18. So we're going to be a little bit too big moving forward. So I'm probably going to call it a day. Now, are you done? No way. You better show that to this side, we're finding a third of it every step of the way. All right. You're finding a third of it. I don't feel like dealing with the decimal. I'm going to call it like it is and leave it right there. We labeled that ordered pair. That one was 1, 0.75. That right there is 2, 2.25. And that right there was 3, 6.75. You're not always going to see obnoxious decimals like this. I hope you're memorizing how everything affects the other parts. If you need more practice, I do have more examples in other videos from a while back. So I will pop those thumbnails up on the screen for you. So but by all means, click through to one of those or go to the next example in the review. I would go over more graphs from my old videos if I were you, because a lot of people struggle with this. If you are riding the struggle bus, please put a thumbs down, let me know. And if you are feeling okay, pretty good, and you're gonna go watch some more videos and practice, then put a thumbs up. Either way, I still love you. Have a beautiful day, and I hope you feel a little bit smarter now. Adios.